Today, we're going to dive into what some are calling a new green gold rush right in the heart of the Himalayas. We're talking about Nepal, and we're going to break down the absolutely massive opportunity and, the kind of surprising challenges of building a business that turns forests into a real weapon against climate change. So let's get into it.
Everything really starts with this number, $10 per ton. And look, this isn't some guess or far-off projection. This is a guaranteed floor price. A major international buyer, the Leaf Coalition, has already agreed to pay it. This one number proves there's a solid financial base here. It tells us the global market is hungry for what Nepal's forests can offer.
Okay, so this brings us to what's being called Nepal's green gold rush. We're going to unpack why this is so much more than just an environmental project. It's a huge business opportunity. And it's the reason Nepal is being seen as a global early mover in this whole carbon market space.
So why Nepal? Well, what's so fascinating is that the groundwork is already done. I mean, think about it. Nepal has this incredible ready-made network of over 22,000 community forest user groups. These groups already manage almost half the country's forests. They've also landed major international deals, and the government is fully behind carbon trading. And get this, their carbon credits also help reduce poverty and protect wildlife, which means buyers will pay a premium for them. The people and the policies, they're already in place.
But that brings up a really big question, right? We're calling this section the Great Carbon Divide. Because if this opportunity is so massive and the deals are signed, why isn't the money actually getting to the people on the ground?
And we're not talking about hypothetical money here. It's already arriving. Nepal just got its first big payment, $9.4 million from the World Bank, which honestly just makes the whole situation more urgent. The cash is in the bank, but it's not in the villages.
And this chart right here, this gets to the absolute heart of the problem. The law in Nepal is crystal clear. 80% of the money from selling carbon has to go directly to the local communities managing the forests. So, the billion-dollar question, or the $9.4 million question is, where is it? Okay, so let's play detective for a minute. Let's investigate why the money is stuck. We're going to look at the specific hurdles that are blocking the funds from getting from a bank in the capital to the people in the villages. And for any entrepreneur listening, these aren't just problems, they're basically your business plan.
This quote just says it all, really. From the community's point of view, it's simple. If you're a farmer, protecting trees for some future carbon payment means you can't sell that timber for cash today. So if that carbon money is too little or it takes forever to show up, this benefit actually feels like a loss. They're being asked to give up real money now for a promise of money someday. It just doesn't add up.
So a big part of the problem is this thing called the Benefit Sharing Plan, or BSP. Now, it was created with good intentions to make sure everything is fair, but in reality, it's turned into this massive wall of red tape. The government has to verify every little detail, management plans, bank accounts, land boundaries, before a single dollar gets released. It's a huge bottleneck.
Let's just run through these barriers. First, the cost to get international auditors to verify everything can be over $100,000. That can wipe out the entire first payment. Second, that complicated paperwork we just talked about means a lot of communities just get skipped. Then there's this legal mess over who actually owns the carbon in the trees. And finally, even if you jump through all those hoops, it can still take more than a year for the money to find its way from a central government account to an actual village.
Okay, so it sounds pretty challenging, right? Well, this is where it gets really interesting. This brings us to the solution, a totally new kind of business model designed specifically to build a bridge over these exact problems.
Here's the big strategic shift. The old way of doing things was to be a carbon buyer. You'd go in and try to buy up carbon rights from communities, which, let's be honest, often created a lot of mistrust. But the new model? You're a service partner. Instead of buying from them, you provide the technical and financial services they need to access the global market themselves. You make your money from a small success fee. That means you only win when they win. It's a total game changer. It aligns everyone's goals and builds trust from day one. And this becomes your pitch. It's incredibly powerful. You can literally walk into a community and say, look, we will cover the massive upfront costs, we'll handle the expensive auditors and the complex satellite monitoring, we'll connect you to the global market, and we only get paid if you get paid. You're not a buyer, you're a bridge. You're solving their single biggest problem. All right, so you're bought into the model. Now for the final piece. Let's get down to brass tacks. This is your roadmap to impact, an actual blueprint for launching your company and making all this a reality on the ground in Nepal. So there are 4 critical steps. First, you have to get real consent from the entire community, not just a handshake with a leader. Second, and this is huge, you help them set up transparent community trust funds to manage the money. You don't just hand out cash to individuals. Third, you train and hire local young people to help with the monitoring using their phones. This creates local jobs and a real sense of ownership. And finally, you make it all official with a 3-way agreement between your company, the community, and the provincial government.
And to really maximize your chances, here's where you focus. Target the provinces of Gandaki, Bagmati, and Lumbini, because the government is already running national programs there. You absolutely have to partner up with the government's REDD+ Implementation Center to make sure you're all on the same page. And crucially, don't just settle for that $10 floor price. No way. Your goal is to find those premium buyers who are willing to pay $20, maybe even $30 a ton for all the amazing social and biodiversity benefits your projects are creating.
So when you boil it all down, it leaves us with this one big question. To truly unlock Nepal's green gold rush, what's the bigger hurdle? Is it the high-tech challenge, the satellites and the data analysis, or is it the much more human challenge of navigating local politics, building trust, and making sure everyone benefits fairly? And the answer to that probably holds the key to the entire thing.